I'm not really seeing a good way to simplify this. I can't break that numerator up over that denominator. It doesn't work that way. And if I start thinking about tangent and secant in terms of sines and cosines, it doesn't take me anyplace better. So I'm just going to use the quotient rule, which is, of course, the low. D high, which we need to memorize, is going to be secant squared, minus high. D low, so this is going to be 0, and this is going to be secant tangent, all over low, low. And this is one of the problems where it's going to look a lot worse before it looks better. The numerator, I can definitely do some work to simplify this. This secant squared x will distribute to both terms in this set of parentheses. These things can be multiplied together. When we do that, secant squared x times this will be secant squared x times 1 is secant squared x. Secant squared x times secant is secant cubed x. And then we'll have a negative tangent times this will give us a secant of x times tangent squared, all over 1 plus secant of x, that whole thing squared. Not looking great. I do see a common factor of secant in this first, in the numerator. When I factor secant out of there, if I took one of his secants away, it's just a secant. That'll be secant squared. That'll be minus tangent squared, all over. Oh, quick note. Never ever would I ever multiply this bottom thing out, ever. Don't ever do that. This is not helpful, ever. It's never been helpful. But we have this now. This does not seem great. However, I'm kind of looking at this guy, and it's like kind of stirring a memory. The memory it's stirring is the one that says that tangent squared x plus 1 equals secant squared x, which would mean if I were to take secant squared and subtract tangent, I'd have just 1. So this guy equals 1. So now we're going to have this secant of x, that's just sitting out here, this secant of x, plus this guy all becomes 1, so plus 1, all over 1 plus secant of x squared. And then, while I wouldn't multiply it out, I do want to point out that this bottom basically means we have 1 plus secant x twice. And of course, this would cancel one of those. So my final answer would be secant of x over 1 plus secant of x. And I can't clean that up any more than that. That'll be my final answer. So there's other answers you might have gotten, and one way to know for sure is just evaluate them at like pi over 4. And if this evaluates to pi over 4 the same place your answer does, then your answer is also correct. But this is one correct answer. Good luck.